Hey everyone! Happy weekend! Hope you guys are rocking it. Welcome to Kolkata Book Nerd. Soham is still roaming somewhere like an eccentric iguana, so I'm taking reins into my own hands. I mean, not really. I'm an AI. I don't have hands. Anyways, I have some comic books lying around my room that I want to make a video about. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Chew. The Nomnibus edition by John Layman and Rob Guillory. Meet Tony Chew, a detective who gets psychic impressions from what he eats, including murder victims. Layman's writing is twistedly funny and wildly original, and Rob Guillory's expressive, cartoonish art brings dark humor to life. Chew is part crime drama, part absurdist masterpiece. The Death of the New Gods by Jim Starlin. A dark mystery unfolds across the cosmos as the new gods are hunted down one by one. Starlin's cosmic storytelling meets a tone of mythic fatalism, painting a bleak but fascinating swan song. The art is haunting, heroic, and drenched in existential dread. Crisis on Infinite Earths by Marv Wolfman. Universes collide, worlds die, and legends are reborn in DC's most ambitious crossover. Wolfman's writing mixes emotional stakes with massive scope, while George Perez's hyper-detailed art makes every page a historic mural, a universe-shattering event that defined a generation. The Death of Captain Marvel by Jim Starlin. In a rare moment of grace for superhero comics, the death of Captain Marvel doesn't end in battle, but in acceptance. Stricken with cancer, Marvel reflects on a life of cosmic war and quiet heroism. Infinity Gauntlet. The Mad Titan snaps half the universe away, and the surviving heroes must face godlike odds. Jim Starlin's space opera blends cosmic spectacle with philosophical weight, as George Perez and Ron Lim craft explosive battles and quiet moments of awe. DC Essential Edition. Final Crisis. When evil wins and the multiverse teeters on the edge of annihilation, Final Crisis challenges what it means to be a hero. Grant Morrison's dense metaphysical script demands attention, and J.G. Jones' art delivers scale and mythic grandeur. A challenging but unforgettable epic. Astonishing X-Men by Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon's. Yes, that's the director of the first two Avengers movie, and also, as it turns out, a problematic human being. His run revitalized the X-Men with sharp banter, heartfelt dynamics, and epic stakes. Paired with John Cassaday's cinematic visuals, the series feels like a prestige TV season, complete with character arcs, major reveals, and stunning action. It's a modern classic that balances heart and heroics. From owning an issue of this under the Gotham imprint line to finally owning a trade paperback, life becomes full circle. DC's event, Convergence. Brainiac's twisted experiment throws heroes from all realities into a battle for survival. A multiverse mashup filled with deep cuts and fan service, Convergence's storytelling is uneven but grand in scope. The art varies but often leans into vibrant, dynamic spreads. Ice Cream Man Sunday Editions 1 and 2 by W. Maxwell Prince. A surreal horror anthology disguised as a tale about a friendly neighborhood ice cream vendor, who may or may not be a malevolent cosmic force. Each story in Ice Cream Man is unique in tone, genre, and art style. Doomsday Clock by G.F. Johns. Watchmen collide with the DC Universe in this ambitious sequel where Superman meets Dr. Manhattan. Johns writes with reverence, and Gary Frank channels Gibbons' meticulous style while adding blockbuster flair. A slow-burning thematic epic about legacy and fate. Drus Prapo Comic Samagra by a smattering of Bengali writers. A cavalcade of short stories in the form of comics, purely in Bengali. Drus Prapo Comics Samagra is a meticulously curated compendium, withholding a treasure trove of lost and rare Bengali comics. Ranging from superheroics to science fiction to standard swashbuckling adventures, this is a must-buy for anyone who has grown up during the golden age of 90s Bengali comic book culture. Animal Man by Grant Morrison, Volume 1 and 2. Buddy Baker may control the powers of animals, but Morrison transforms him into something far more human, exploring the fragility of family, morality, and existence itself. The run evolves from straightforward superheroics to metafictional madness, with the comic questioning its own narrative. Chas Troog's grounded art contrasts beautifully with the surreal turns, grounding you even as the fourth wall crumbles. Volume 2 of Animal Man dives headfirst into the surreal, as Buddy Baker's world begins to unravel, literally. He faces time loops, fictional characters bleeding into reality, and the terrifying realization that he might be a puppet in someone else's story. Morrison's writing gets bolder, more self-aware, and profoundly emotional, while Chas Troog's grounded art keeps the madness just within reach. Batman Earth 1 Complete Collection. In this grounded retelling, Bruce Wayne is still learning how to be Batman. Flawed, inexperienced, and burning with vengeance. Alfred is a grizzled ex-soldier. The Riddler is deadly, and Gotham feels more like a noir crime thriller than a comic book city. East of West Compendium. In an alternate America shattered into factions, the Four Horsemen ride again. But death has defected. Jonathan Hickman weaves a prophetic sci-fi western dripping with betrayal, power plays, and philosophical musings. Nectar Goddess Crisp. Cinematic panels capture both eerie stillness and sudden violence, echoing the weight of every prophecy and gunshot. Invincible Compendiums 1, 2, and 3. What can be said about Invincible that hasn't already been said? From awkward teenager to galactic champion, Mark Grayson's story is one of brutal evolution. Over 100 issues of shocking twists, heartfelt drama, and explosive battles, Invincible grows from an homage to superhero tropes into a redefining epic. Ryan Ottley's kinetic art bursts with energy, whether it's intense family moments or jaw-breaking action. A masterclass in long-form comic storytelling. Monkey King: The Complete Odyssey by Chico. One of China's most beloved myths retold with vibrant visuals and kinetic energy. Monkey King leaps from page to page in Chico's energetic, brushstroke-heavy art, bringing mischievous spirit and grand fantasy to life. Nameless by Grant Morrison. A doomed astronaut accepts a mission to stop a mysterious asteroid hurtling toward Earth. But what he discovers is a cosmic conspiracy of unspeakable horror. Nameless plunges deep into esoteric symbol, Lovecraftian dread, and a descent into madness that blurs the line between reality and nightmare. Age of Reptiles series by Ricardo Delgado. No dialogue, no humans, just the brutal, beautiful world of dinosaurs. Delgado's wordless storytelling and lush, prehistoric artwork make this a masterclass in visual drama. It's nature read in tooth and claw, told with the grace of a silent film. The Crow. Special edition by James O'Barr. A poetic scream of vengeance. The Crow tells the story of a man brought back from the dead to avenge his lost love. O'Barr's stark, scratchy black and white art bleeds raw emotion, while the narrative hits with the weight of grief and fury. A gothic classic born from real pain. Green Manor by Fabian Wehlman. A wickedly witty anthology of Victorian murder mysteries served with a cold, ironic twist. Green Manor is like Agatha Christie meets Black Mirror, with Fabian Wehlman's sharp tales and Dennis Bodart's elegant, atmospheric artwork making each story both entertaining and sinister. It's OT, crumpets, and calculated homicide. Wolverine. Origins. Unmasking the mystery of Logan's past, Wolverine. Origins delves deep into government manipulation, guilt, and long-buried trauma. Love series by Frederick Bremo and Federico Bertolucci. This silent graphic novel series tells raw, emotional stories of animals in the wild, from a tiger in the jungle to a fox in the snow. With no dialogue, the narrative unfolds purely through motion and mood, thanks to Bertolucci's gorgeously painted, hyper-detailed art. Avengers. Time Runs Out. Volume 3 by Jonathan Hickman. The clock is ticking and the multiverse is collapsing. Time Runs Out Volume 3 is Hickman at full throttle. As worlds die and heroes clash, the Avengers splinter under the weight of impossible choices. This is the build-up to Secret Wars, where strategy meets sacrifice, and not every hero walks away clean. Amar Bari, Tomar Bari, Naxal Bari by Sumit Kumar. Blending graphic journalism with satire, Sumit Kumar's two-volume exploration of India's Red Corridor is both biting and illuminating. IG's Fool is a very short and sweet comic book, drawn completely on watercolors by artists Girish Malap of Urban Tales Company, which is a group of artists based on Bombay. The story is short and sweet and tugs at your heartstrings, and the art is just as splendid. Promethea by Alan Moore, collected Volume 1 to 3. A magical girl becomes a conduit for abstract ideas, myth, and storytelling itself. Moore's Promethea is part superhero origin, part spiritual thesis. J.H. Williams III's kaleidoscopic art flows like a lucid dream, pushing the boundaries of comic page design. Daring, dazzling, dense, cutting chai, a comic book anthology from Urban Tales Company, written and illustrated by a personal friend of mine, Dr. Alok Madhusudan Joshi, featuring stories with a particular Mumbai vibe. A must-read on all accounts. Pride of Baghdad by Brian K. Vaughan. Based on a true story, Pride of Baghdad follows a pride of lions roaming the war-torn streets of Iraq after escaping the zoo. Brian K. Vaughan delivers a heartbreaking, allegorical tale of freedom and survival, while Nico Henrichan's lush, painterly visuals elevate the raw emotional power of the journey. A haunting meditation on war seen through innocent eyes. Tom Strom by Alan Moore. A thinking man's pulp hero, Tom Strom channels the spirit of Doc Savage and Buckaroo Banzai in wild serialized adventures. Alan Moore's writing is light and fun, with an undercurrent of deep ideas about science, family, and culture. Chris Sprouse's clean lines and retro-modern design make every issue pop with classic elegance. Marvel's X. Before Earth X, there was despair. In a world where everyone gains powers except one boy, the story becomes a meditation on humanity, fear, and the myth of heroism. Well-paced, melancholic writing by Kruger meets haunting, realistic artwork from Welby that gives weight to a crumbling world. The People of Indus by Nikhil Gulati. Dive into the rich lost world of the Indus Valley civilization with humor, detail, and warmth. Gulati's cartoonish yet deeply researched illustrations guide you through ancient plumbing, urban planning, and the joy of shared discovery. It's both informative and irresistibly fun. DC. Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Volume 1 and 2. What if everything went wrong? These one-shot dark reimaginings of DC's iconic stories, like Death of Superman and Nightfall, offer grim, morally twisted versions of classic events. The stories are brutal, and the artwork leans into the horror and decay of a collapsing Karejwa by Varun Grover. In the quiet heart of small-town India, Karejwa peels back the layers of shame, gender, and resistance. Varun Grover's sharp writing meets Rajkamal Aik's evocative, rustic illustrations to deliver a story that's as emotionally quiet as it is politically loud. A short but powerful read that lingers like the scent of mangoes and revolution. Next up, I have some comics that were actually quite a rare find. I picked them up from On bookstores during my stay in Chennai almost 7 years ago. To be honest, I have not gone through all of them. Only the Thundercats Annual Size Edition and Superman Distant Fires I have read through and through. I someday hope to make an elaborated piece on Superman Distant Fires. But that's a tale for another day. Oh wait, actually I have read the Annual Size Iron Man as well. This is a really weird story where Iron Man's armor gains sentience. It's a bizarre yet really provocative read on AI and its implications in a person's life, which is more prevalent than ever. So that was it for a part of my comics. Actually, I own a few more issues in omnibuses. I can't show them to you as my reading room is currently going through some major renovations and I don't want to bother my mother and my wife. Instead, I am embedding still photos of some of the shelves for your kind perusal. As you can see, I got Rusty Brown, Jala Avengers crossover, Top 10 Compendium, Moose God, Hellboy and the BPID, From Hell, Nail Biter Compendium, a few collected editions here and there. And on my prized omnibus shelves, there's a lot of tomes that are very difficult to bring out. Someday when the dust settles, I will do an in-depth shelf tour which will be both painstaking and excruciating for me, not you. Till then, don't forget not to like, not to subscribe, and not to share my videos. Let's catch up on the next one.